Yeah, I did. I just gave it to,
6 o'clock, I call this regular school board meeting to order, Tuesday, December 9th, 2008. First on the agenda is is pledge, I thought we used to do the pledge of allegiance. You will, I'm gonna switch. Okay. If you will, bow with me for a moment of silence. Amen. Now if all will rise to pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, the Chair would like to recognize Mr. Patrick Austin to address the board. Mr. Austin, I know as is the case, Mrs. Britt has notified you of the subject matter and the time restraints on the presentation. Thank you.
Yes, hello. I'm a citizen of Lee County. I have kids in the public school system, and we just did a Pledge of Allegiance, right? That means all of us have rights as citizens, and we to be treated fairly and justly. So I think we all can agree on that the students are our first priority concern, and that the safety, integrity, and a quality education and our parental involvement. You know, I know this is not a legal issue, but I don't understand why there's a delay. I've been trying to reach many of you to hear concerns of harassment and things to some students, and no one has never contacted me about it. This is going on for almost like 4 months now. But if there's going to be any further delay, I would like someone to please contact me, give me an explanation in writing. Because like I said, there are some students being victimized, and I don't think that it should be a legal issue to hear a concern of harassment or anything like that, or violation of student rights. Secondly, I have an audio cassette that contains misconduct violations admitted by school employees that have concerned fraud, deceit, falsifying of documents, and everything. I had brought this issue up before, and like I said, I felt like this has put it on the back burner. It's an unrelated issue. So like I said, I would like to have a public meeting to discuss that, because like I said, it is on audio tape. It's nothing that I will be making up or anything like that. It should be open to the public because it involves other students, other counties, and other schools. I will also forward a copy of the grievances that I have filed to your board members, because I have been through all the procedures with administrators and filing it, and I think there has been delay unnecessarily, and so I'd like to appeal that to your board members to hear these concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to have a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the agenda for December the 9th be approved.
Motion made by Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Thompson. Any questions or discussions? Being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, I've overlooked approval of the agenda. I do need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I've already done that.
I just did.
The minutes, I'm sorry. I'm distracted, I'm reading ahead of myself. Approval of the minutes, dated, October 30th, November 4th, November 18th, November 20th, December 1st, and December 2nd. All, inclusive, all those in favor signify by aye. Motion, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes of 10:30:08, 11:04:08, 11:18:08, 11:20:08, 12:01:08, and 12:02:08.
Second by Mr. Thompson. Now, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Announcements and reports, I have none. I will yield to Mrs. Mangum on curriculum and instruction.
High School Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on December the 1st at Lee Early College. The committee has proposed some significant changes to the high school curriculum focused on increasing our expectations of our students and increasing achievement. All of these initiatives are in your board packet under the consent agenda. The first major change is in our English and biology classes. We wish to eliminate a basic level course starting instead at college prep level. In English and biology, only college prep, honors, and AP courses will be offered. Also, 3 new CTE classes are proposed. They are Travel, Tourism, and Recreation Marketing, Agricultural Mechanics 1, and Agricultural Mechanics 2. Significant changes in our AP program were introduced. They are as follows. Number 1, in order to receive AP credit, which means 2 quality points more for a class, it will be a requirement to take the AP test. Honors credit, which is 1 extra quality point, will be given if a student elects to take the AP class but not to take the AP exam. Number 2, AP seminar courses will be offered to increase student achievement on the AP test. In other words, you would take the AP class 1 semester, and then the second semester you take the AP seminar, or that it would be an honor seminar for the AP class. And number 3, students will continue to be responsible for the cost of the AP test. However, the county would reimburse students for the cost of the test according to their performance. And we would need to be sure that we would include this in the budget for next year. And if you made a 3 on the AP test, you would get 50% back of your cost of your test. If you made a 4, you would get 75% back. And if you made a 5, you'd get 100% back of the cost of the AP exam. There are a lot of counties that do pay for the AP exam for their students. Also discussed on December's agenda was the high school music program. It's been determined that conversations between middle school, high school, and elementary school music teachers will occur to create more interest in expanding our musical opportunities for Lee County students. And one thing I didn't think about was, and we might need to look again at this, we need to estimate what kind of cost expenditure that would be, because that was something that we did not do. Do you have any kind of idea, Tina?
We looked at the number of students who took the AP tests last year. There were 81 that were given at Lee County High School. There were 17 that were given at Southern Lee High School. When we looked at numbers of students that are currently taking the AP courses, I want to say that there were about 500 students currently enrolled at Lee County High School, and that there are about maybe 200 over at Southern as well. And we did calculate the cost out, and Andy has that. I can't remember exactly what the amount was. It was not a significant amount when you looked at the total budget?
Well, and of course that's up for discussion, but one thought that I have is that we need to have some kind of idea of the cost of that. We might remove that from I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I'm also thinking realistically about budget expenditures and, you know, we're having to cut some things. This is something we're adding on.
Ms. Running, if I understand that you're not gonna offer a regular biology.
It was just gonna be at college prep level.
Why, I mean, why? Is it just college prep rather than,
Where we're feeling that, or in general, we need to bump up our classes. Our achievement has not been very good in some of our classes. And Dr. Poultry, could you come up and give some
Sure.
explanation to that?
Could I interrupt just a moment? Is this a discussion or is this a committee report?
This is a committee report. But the reason I'm bringing it up for discussion, if this is okay, Mr. Chair, is this is on the consent agenda. And we could pull it, but I felt like maybe we needed to clarify some information.
Right now, when you look at what is offered in our curriculum, we only had 2 areas where we had courses that were offered at a very basic level. That was English 1 through English 4 in biology. All other courses were offered at 2 levels if they had an honors class associated with them. When we look at the requirements that students have to meet in order to succeed after high school, the rigor is definitely there. When you look at the very basic level, it says a lot when you put students in those classes. It tends to make them think that they cannot achieve, and it also makes others feel that they may not be able to achieve at the levels that are needed in order to succeed. We had a large discussion when it came to the committee because we want students to be successful, and we felt that the support could be provided to those students, that we could look at our master schedule and manipulate it so that those students who would be potentially at risk could be helped through being placed in a specific section, or for example at Lee County High School, they could be placed in that academic enrichment class as well, so that the support would be there for them, but they would be able to participate in a rigorous curriculum along with the rest of the student body.
Mr. Chair, may I ask, if I understood, you said that one of the reasons is for those going to college. What about those students that are not seeking college? What do we do to those that?
Most of the students that are going to leave us are going to have to get some level of education. When you talk to the individuals at the community college, and as a matter of fact, probably Aaron could speak to this as well, they still need to take higher levels of classes. They need to be exposed to rigor, and they are not exposed to that when they take that basic level. A lot of the students who take those basic levels have to take remedial courses, and so by being exposed to the rigorous levels, the belief is that those students would not have to take remedial courses but would be able to enroll in the community colleges and do well. But even at the certification level, if they're doing a course that takes just one year to get their certification, that they would best be served by taking those classes.
If it's the pleasure of the board, I'm moving this item off of the consent agenda and tabling for the next board meeting under new business. This is quite a bit more than we are prepared now, particularly in lieu of the budget revisions. And I'm sorry, and I apologize to the board and to the audience for letting this slip by me when I was reading the board package. But unless the board states otherwise, we'll table this, item 10 under, our consent agenda and bring it back in January under new business.
Mr. Chair, in typing up the high school schedules, the high school curriculum guides, how much is this going to, that was a concern of the committee, and, I think we need clarification before we do it, but I also just wanted to bring it to your attention that they were talking about the printing of the, schedules for Lee County and Southern Lee.
Mr. Jackson, could you, bring us a cost analysis of these changes? We have to be very prudent in that, all of our, cost expenses. Dr. Lynn Smith, Facilities and Technology.
Mr. Chairman, the Facilities and Technology Committee met last on November 4th, 2008, at which time we opened bids for asbestos removal and demolition of the foreign language building and the art annex, both of which were approved by the total board at our last meeting on November the 8th. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, December the 16th, 2008.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson, Finance.
Finance has not met since our last audit, report, and, we'll meet again in January.
Mr. Williams, Policy.
Policy Committee met on December the 2nd. We will have policies for you tonight for first reading. And looks like School Board Association are relooking at some other policies, and the numbers continue to go up.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I have some clarification on something, just so I'm sure? Are we taking both items off Program of Studies and AP credit requirement, or just AP credit requirement?
I wouldn't take anything relative to cost off.
Okay.
If it's
So just,
cost associated with it,
just to clarify, the Program of Studies, is that back on the consent agenda then? That,
as I read, that's not,
that's
cost
not.
associated to it. Is that correct?
Right, that is
That remains, only item 10 is removed for.
Unless somebody else
Be
wants to.
tabled. A motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 9, only 1 through 9.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the consent agenda as listed, with the exception of item number 10.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Linda Smith. Any discussions or questions? Being none, all those in favor signify by aye. Mr. Williams, unfinished business, the second reading. Share with us the motion before.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the second reading of policy 3410, 4001, 4100, 4150, 4152, 4153, 4210, 4302, 4320, 4331, 4335, 4340, 4352, 4370, 4500, 4510, 4720, 5025, 5040, 5050, 5100, 5110, 5120, 7410, 7620, and 9000.
This is coming from the policy committee, does not require a second. Any discussions or questions regarding these multiple policies? Being none, all those in favor of the second reading signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? New business. I will need a motion is not coming from committee, this is coming from, administration. I need a motion. Red, please.
Mr. Chairman, move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the reversion as presented.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Mangum. For discussion, I think, Mr. Jackson would like to have a few words with the board.
Yes, sir, thank you. As you can see in your package, the Office of State Budget and Management has notified DPI that $117 million needs to be reverted from the state public school fund. What that translates into us is on the local level, that's 0.75% of our budget, our state budget. And that equals $378,576 for this year. What we propose to do, and I would like to thank Ms. Howington and the rest of the staff for helping to come to this determination. We propose to revert 6.2 instructional support positions, which would amount to $378,485, leaving 91 more dollars that we need to revert. So we would propose that we take that from low wealth supplemental funding. So the total amount to be reverted again would be $378,576. If you would like to look at the form that we have to use, if you'll, I wish I would have put the second page at the very end. The second page, if you'll just skip the second page in your package, go to the third page in your package. You can see, if you look down the PRC numbers, which are on the left-hand side, go down to number 7, instructional support. We were allocated 48 positions, and you see the initial allotment amount of $2,831,520. The next column, the next vertical column tells you the reversion, and we, in parentheses there, you see 6.2, and you see the total, $378,485, and that's what we propose to revert. The average salary there is $61,046, and that's how you figure you convert positions into the average salary. So that is our recommendation to you. I would also like to I want to mention another item to you. Unfunded mandates, and I don't know if that's something you would like to hear right now. I'm going to take a minute.
First are there any questions at this point on the reversions?
Just one question. Even though we're reverting 6.2 instructional support positions, we are not losing any employees, am I correct?
That is correct. That's correct.
And a point of clarification, the average wages of $61,000 that you quoted, that does include payroll burden. That's the raw cost of the employee.
Yes, yes.
Just for clarification.
This hurts us, but thanks to the staff, we have been semi-prepared for this. We started planning that this was going to happen back in September, and tried to prepare our system for this. So it could hurt a lot worse.
Just a point that I think that you and Ms. Howington should be commended for being prepared for it, because it would be very bad not to be prepared for it this year.
Well, thank you. I want to point out one line in the front page. It's in the second from the bottom paragraph, and it's in the very middle. It says, by reacting now, they hope to eliminate the need for additional reductions this fiscal year. I want to underline hope. So that tells you that we might not be through. We might not be through.
Any further questions? Mr. Jackson, please continue with the report on, unfunded mandates that continues to inundate our county.
Yes, sir. May I say one more word before I do
Sure.
that? I did ask you to overlook page 2. Page 2 is a memo to principals, directors, and leadership as we try to prepare for a possible cut in local funding. And I want you to, as you have time, review that and see what our intentions are there. And would be glad to answer questions as you read through that. I'd like to pass this out to you. If I might, please. If you've been able to read newspapers recently, local newspapers, you know that our chairman and our board attorney have discussed the graduation project that is before us. And I thought it would be appropriate to provide you with some information regarding this project and other unfunded mandates. The issues that you have in front of you on this chart are very complex. I would ask you to discuss them with me at a later time individually. I think I could better explain things to you individually, but the total scope is, if you look down at the bottom, you see $1,314,106 for the last 2 years, 2007, 2009, are mandated funds that we've had to come up with. In other words, we've been mandated with various requirements that we have to do, and the funding has not come with it, with those mandates, so we've had to provide those funds in the last 2 years. Just so you know, in case you want to check that first column, I'm going to, we're under the mandate word, the 2007-2009 include the box that says lower class size. It includes exceptional children ratios, criminal background checks, CTE testing, internet filter, archiving, electronic communication, new writing test, and NCYs. That's what that includes. Now, you see at the very bottom, the next line down says that what we can expect in addition to this for 2009, 2010, that's an additional $460,000. And that is reflected, if you go back to the chart under the mandates, just above the middle of the page, that reflects full-time mentors that we're going to have to be prepared for next year, ESL teachers and testing, the graduation project that actually spearheaded this whole initiative of getting the unfunded mandates to you. And those are the 3 things that we're going to be faced with for next year. So I wanted you to have the basics. It's here before you. Excuse me. And I would like to answer questions individually after you've had time to look at this and absorb it.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Williams, board policy, first reading.
Ask the requirement version.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't voted. All those in favor of this, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, board members, keeping me straight tonight. I'm kind of out of it for some reason.
Mr. Chair, I would like to do this first reading in 2 parts on my motion, Mr. Chair. I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the first reading of policies 1510, 3320, 3420, 3610, 4050, 4260, 4325, 4353, 5000, 5010, 5015, 5020, 5022, 5030, 6322, and 7100.
This is coming from committee, does not require a second. Any discussion on the, policies that's been read? Being none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, policy 4125 on homeless students is a policy that just had editorial changes. With the ruling from the state board, the School Board Association, they said that on an editorial change, that it could be approved that after the first reading if the board so desire. So I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve policy 4125.
Second, if we have any discussions on this is one of the things we talked about a few, last month, about some of these just edited changes in the policy. And in fact, to expedite it, not having a second reading, understand that you've got clarity from the association. So 4125 will be, while it's first reading or not, it will be implemented into our policy manual. Any other discussions or questions? Being none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed? The school improvement plan will need a motion to approve this year's school improvement plan before any questions or discussions. This is coming from curriculum and instruction, I think, is it not?
Yeah, but it hadn't gone, it didn't actually go through our committee.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the, school improvement plans as presented.
We'll need a second. Second by Mr. Williams. The school improvement plan has been distributed. I'll take any questions or discussions at this time regarding the school improvement plan. Being none, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair would recognize Mrs. Mangle.
I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that's privileged, confidential, or not a public record under NCGS section 143-318.11A1.
I have a second. Second by Dr. Lynn Smith. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Move to the conference room. Entertain a motion to approve the personnel report as presented.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the personnel report as presented.
Second.
Second by Dr. Linda Smith. No discussions or questions? Being none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair recognizes Mrs. Mangum.
I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session to consider the qualifications, competence, and fitness of a prospective employee under NCGS section 143-318.11.
Second. We'll return to those in the audience.
Yeah, I know. Lee?
Evidently something